All right. Talk to me, Cleveland. This is Kevin Chill Hurd. Uh, you know what it is, the host of Chill Talk. We will soon be joined by the super producer, Felicia Haney. And you already see, I have the link in the thread, the Zoom link. So if you want to join the conversation, history was made in Cleveland. And we're gonna talk about it as Felicia works her way up on here. But as you can see, and more people come on, you can see that the Zoom link is in the chat thread. So if you want to come on and talk about Cleveland politics and who won and who lost and why do you think it happened, today's the day to do it. It was an upset of epic proportions for the mayor's race. Oh, like my man Jam says, oh my God, y'all don't know. Y'all gotta, get down with battle rap to get that one. Felicia is still trying to get in. As she gets in, let me check. Let me see what we sounded like. Oh, there she is. There's Haney.
Go heat up my coffee.
You
had me in the waiting room.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't hear you. Oh, wait a minute. That's because I have my volume down. Duh. Okay, say something. Okay, now you're on mute. Can you unmute? 1 minute. Okay, she's working. She's doing other stuff while sipping a latte. All right, Felicia Haney has got stuff going on behind the scenes. We're going to see what this is. And as she gets ready to join us, we have tickets. We already gave some away last week. So we have tickets for the Motor City Magic Oldies Review number 10. 10. All right, let's see if we have sound from Felicia.
I'm here.
There she is. What's going on?
Sorry, I had made a call right before the show and they didn't answer. They were calling me back, but I just had to take it real quick. But
all right.
I'm here.
And I'm letting people know as more people get on. I have the Zoom link in the chat if you want to come on and talk about what happened in Cleveland politics.
Why does my camera look so grainy?
Don't know.
I tried to call our good friend Larry Gardner to see if he could join us, but I didn't get an answer from him.
All right, because and I was with Larry at Olivet Institutional Baptist Church, where the winning, as it turned out, the winning candidate was hemmed up there with the official candidate watch party. Of course, I was in the building. Larry was in the building. So wow, for people who are watching who haven't joined in yet, and we'll talk about it some more. We have a new mayor. We've had the same mayor. The Honorable Mayor Frank G. Jackson has served for almost 16 years.
16 years.
16 years as mayor of Cleveland.
I thought he was going to, early on, I thought, I'm like, he's going to finish out at 20. He's just going to do one more term and try to go to 20 years. But, for whatever reason, he decided not to. And it's, in retrospect, it's a good thing considering, a lot of the personal issues he has going on. So I could only imagine how that would play out in the middle of him, running a campaign. So yeah, it's a good thing he did not end up running again for another term, but I never expected it to be this, to come down to this.
Man, let me tell you something. You go back to the just before the primary election when it was like 9 candidates running for mayor,
Mm-hmm.
I'm guaranteeing you that no one,
No, no one even knew who he was. So it was just like, oh, this kid is running, you know what I mean? It's cool that he's throwing his hat in the ring and all this, but I don't think anybody saw this coming.
And if they said it, they saw it coming, they lying.
Yeah.
No one saw 34-year-old Justin Bibb, who had never held political, not only had he never held political office, most people in Cleveland didn't even know who he was. I mean, it's not like, Larice Purnell wanted to run for mayor and never had held political office. People know who he is. Nope. I mean, the majority of people in the city of Cleveland were unfamiliar with this young man. As outstanding as he is. Okay, hold on. Am I frozen or is it just Felicia that's frozen? Okay, it's Felicia that's frozen. Okay, we're gonna see if Felicia gets, okay, she dropped off, but she'll come back in. But yes, Cleveland has a new mayor, Justin Bibb. He was the vice president of a bank. He was involved in several startups. Outstanding young man. Don't bury the headline. As a very young man, he was an intern for Senator Barack Obama. Studied in London at American University. Smart dude. Hopefully, what this city needs, we will see. And I do have some other announcements, some chill announcements coming at a later date to give everybody full transparency of things that I'm involved in. I'm not at liberty to mention them now, but okay, Felicia has commented on ChillTalk. Okay, she's unable to get on, but hopefully she'll work that out. Pamela Mason says, yay for Justin Bibb. Yeah, Pam, call Andrew Nelson. That's my girl. Call Andrew Nelson, who also won for judge. Give her a call. The link is in the chat. And big ups to her. Let me wave my Wakanda flag. We had a lot of people won. A lot of first time elected officials won. So yeah, Pam, give her a call. The Zoom link is in the chat. I would love to talk to. That's my girl. I would love to talk to her. Several people won. Andrea, as she's saying, won a judge seat. My boy Ife was elected to city council in the suburb of Shaker Heights. Okay, what is Felicia saying? Not sure what's going on. It just says my connection on my end. It says she has a connection, but nothing's happening. So not sure what's happening with Felicia. Hopefully she'll work it out. But yeah, give her a call, see if she wants to come on and holler at us. And also we'll be doing ticket giveaways for the 10th Motor City Magic Oldies Review. It will be November 6th at the Civic Center on Mayfield in Cleveland Heights. You guys already know what that is. $30 ticket. You could get it here for the free. Just stay tuned. But again, and hopefully Felicia will get back on what she has to do. But my goodness, I was there in the house. It was, I mean, not only did he win, not only did he, I don't want to keep saying he came out of nowhere, but for the most part, for people who in the city, a lot of people in the know that, because outstanding brother has done great things, major achievements in the business world with startups, in the banking world, has a Juris Doctorate. Man, Jesus, this dude is a bad boy. So not only did he defeat like a full field of like 8, 9 seasoned politicians, but he ended up in the general election going head to head with the quote unquote establishment, with Kevin Kelly, city council president. Needless to say, among the people who were eliminated during the primaries was former Mayor Dennis Kucinich, who was the youngest mayor in the history of Cleveland at the age of 31. Justin is the second youngest now in the history of Cleveland at 34. But my point is, not only did he overcome those obstacles of defeating a full slate in the primary election of seasoned politicians, and going head to head with Kevin Kelly for the general, as they say in the rap battle community, he won clearly. No need for a recount. Let's see if we can get Felicia back in here. He won clearly. Let's see if we can get Haney back in the building. She's coming in. Yeah, when he jumped out to a very commanding lead off of early votes, the early votes, he never gave up that sizable lead. It stayed. And Kevin Kelly was unable to catch up. We're gonna let somebody in, see who we have. Hopefully it's no drama. Brother Rucker, let's see what Brother Rucker has to say. He is coming in. Brother Rucker, talk to me.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's going on? Talk to me. Why you here? What you want to talk about? Holler at us.
Well, my understanding is that you all would like to talk about diversity in the court, or the need for diversity on the bench. So I'd like to talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, real quick, is this something that you hooked up with the producer, or you just jumped in?
No, I just kind of jumped in a little bit, I guess.
Okay,
just a little bit.
Well, let's see if we have, is Felicia is our producer. She's having problems getting her signal straight. She's having problems getting her signal straight. Me? Yeah, we hear you, but you're a little sticky on your. I don't know. It sounds like you have a bad. Sounds like you have a bad signal.
All right, I may just have to listen in. So I knew he was coming in though. So just an FYI, and Larry is also going to join us.
All right. Okay, I see Larry coming in. All right, Brother Rucker, talk to us. He said you want to talk about diversity in the court.
The need for it, yes.
The need for it. Talk about it.
Well, as you all know, we just had the census in 2020.
Right.
And the census for Cuyahoga County showed basically they're about 57% white, about 37% Black. Hispanics are even less than that. And Asians and other Native Americans and other people of color are even less than that. But when you look at the Common Pleas bench, the Common Pleas bench has 4 divisions: the General Division, the Juvenile Division, where I sit as a magistrate, the Domestic Relations Division, and the Probate Division.
Okay.
Now, out of all of those divisions, there are approximately 47 judges. And out of those 47 judges in the domestic relations division, there's only one African American. In the probate division, there's none. In the juvenile division, there are 2 African Americans. And in the general division, there are approximately 4 African American judges. There are no Hispanic judges, and there are no other judges of color on the common pleas bench other than the ones I've just mentioned.
Okay.
Now, people keep talking about they want to reform the judicial system because from people of color's aspect, the bottom line is the system is unfair, okay? And they keep talking about we need to reform the system when they need, and we would like to improve justice and how justice is handed out and meted out to people, not just white people, but also to people of color. Well, the easiest way to do that is at the ballot box, okay?
Okay.
And in 2022 and in 2024, there will be an opportunity for voters in Cuyahoga County to increase the number of people of color on the bench. But you got to register and you got to vote. You can't have a 13% minority turnout and expect there to be change. But the whole purpose of putting people of color on the bench is if you get people of color on the bench, they bring different experiences to the bench. They bring diversity to the bench. They see things differently. So for example, when you get an individual of color who stole $45,000, if you have a different perspective from the bench, you might get a different outcome, as opposed to, say, for example, the person that stole $250,000, okay? And they are not a person of color, and they got a different outcome if you have a different outcome from the bench. And please understand, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus because I am not, okay? And I don't know all of the facts of each of these particular cases.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, and I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your wisdom. Where are you a magistrate at?
Juvenile court, Cuyahoga County
Juvenile Court. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you see from your position as a magistrate, you see the effects of as the discussion we're having right now, Black youth coming before judges, and you're telling us that there obviously is a difference in the legal system of a lack of diversity on the bench. How does what is the outcome? How does that affect our youth?
The numbers. If you look at the numbers, you will see there are very few people of color on the bench. Okay, very few in the numbers that I gave earlier. Now, how this affects our youth is this. They need to be able to see people like myself, people and other people of color who actually wear the Black robe. They need to be able to see us. Why do they need to be able to see us? They need to be able to see us to say, look, I may be in a bad situation now, but I don't always have to be in this situation. For example, Judge Ryan, who is a judge in the juvenile court, his story is well known.
Sure.
And he has told the story, and it is well known. He came from poverty to success. He is a success story. Our children need to see that. They need to see that. I myself grew up in the inner city of Cleveland. Now, I will admit, my story is not the same as Judge Ryan's story because I had a Catholic school education. And I went from Catholic school from kindergarten through 12th grade. But I did grow up. I grew up on East 89th.
I just need to add that, but go ahead.
What'd you say, Felicia?
And Judge Ryan went to Cleveland Heights, but but I
see there's Felicia with that again. Go ahead, Magistrate Rucker.
Well, but I grew up on East 89th between Quincy Avenue and Cedar Avenue. Okay. In the house that my great grandfather built. And then we moved to Benham Avenue and we lived between 98th and 103rd. Okay. So I grew up in the inner city. I had friends who were inner city friends, even though I went to, sorry, Felicia, St. Ignatius High School on West 30th and Lorraine. Thank you very much. But I was one of 2 African Americans in my graduating class. Okay. And even though I played football and ran track there, my experience there was totally different. But the bottom line is I still grew up in the inner city. And our kids need to see people whose story is a success story. No, I'm not famous. No, I'm not, I'm nowhere near LeBron James or anybody like that. But I do consider myself a success story because my family raised me to believe in myself. My family raised me to believe that I could be anything that I wanted to be. And I passed that on to my own 5 children. And my family loved me and they showed me that love and they gave me every opportunity. My mother used to go to bed hungry at night so that my brother and I would have something to eat so we would be ready for school in the morning. Okay. Everybody doesn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth.
Right.
She sacrificed so my brother and I could get a Catholic school education. All right. And I have nothing against a public school education. In fact, I believe in public school education, and I have plenty of friends who have graduated from public schools and have gone on to do great things. The problem is, at this particular point in time, we are not investing in our public school educations anymore. And our kids are not getting the same benefits today that they used to get when public education was funded. Sports used to be funded. Band used to be funded. You had different opportunities and different classes that were funded that gave our kids an opportunity. Now, basically, you have to go to a suburban school to get those opportunities that you used to be able to get in the Cleveland Metropolitan School
in the public school. So you're right. And I do want to jump in real quick and say that we, as people are watching the show right now, we put the chat, it's in the description box and it's in the thread. You might have to scroll up to get it in the thread, but it's in the description box and we'll put it back in there if you want to join this conversation. But you see, we have our brother Larry Gardner here. And Larry, if you're hearing us right now, hang on. We're going to get to you. You and I were together at the BIB campaign headquarters last night to witness, something that, as Felicia and I talked about, no one saw that coming. And Larry, we'll get to you in a second. But as we finish with this brother right here, who's serving as a magistrate, given a very interesting perspective of the judicial system and the disparities on the bench, which he's here telling us affects. Would I be incorrect saying that it affects the outcome of the lives of many of our youth? I mean, not just youth, but adults as well.
It has the potential to do that. Yes, I can tell you from my experience, I've had a lot of kids and a lot of families who are very thankful for the things that I did for them in order to try to turn some things around. And I know that they also said it was good to see somebody like me on the bench. And that's a positive thing because unfortunately in juvenile court, we do deal with a lot of children of color and a lot of families of color. Okay. That's not to say we don't deal with white families and white children. That is not to say that. But we can also be a positive force for white families and white children as well. And the reason we can is because we can show them, this is what Black excellence looks like. And it's not something that you need to fear, but it should be something that you should embrace.
Right.
And that is very important because we need to be able to embrace Black excellence at all levels because diversity brings a different perspective, not a better one, not a worse one, just a different one. And the bottom line is, I may see something because of my experiences, my 62 years of fighting racism and systemic racism. I may see something that a non-person of color may not see. I may have had certain experiences that a non-person of color may not have had. And I bring those experiences to the bench. Other people of color would bring those experiences to the bench. And you may get different outcomes for various situations that you might not otherwise get.
Felicia, before we wrap with Brother Rucker, the magistrate, and we get Larry Gardner in here, did you have any questions for Mr. Rucker? Felicia, okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for jumping on here and joining us. We appreciate that. And the fact that you're bringing up something that like we all kind of know about, but we don't always necessarily pay attention to. And we don't always pay attention to it when it's time to come and vote. So,
Right.
you know, one of the things that I noticed yesterday about, I mean, the election that most people were paying the most attention to was the mayoral election. But like when I looked at the number of votes, I'm like, it's only like 50,000 people who voted, which is crazy, you know, because I'm like, you got over or more than 300,000 people living in Cleveland proper, and you've only got 50,000 people voting. So that is bizarre.
Right. I
to
think the
say the least.
percentage was what it said was like only 23% of registered voters voted. Is that about the correct number?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Right.
I think
I think it
correct
was said
number.
around 23% of all registered voters voted.
And see, what people don't seem to understand is the easiest way to change the judicial system is by bringing diversity to it. But you got to go to the ballot box in order to bring about that change. Now, you know, there are a whole lot of different conversations that can be had about why people of color don't vote. One of the biggest things is that people of color generally don't feel that their vote makes a difference. But I'm here to tell you, people of color, our votes do make a difference. And it was in the 1960s during the civil rights era that Martin Luther King was able to bring pressure to bear on the powers that be, because he got people to register to vote and then he got them to vote. And that is the way he made the changes that we have experienced since the 1960s, which are trying to be rolled back as we speak today. And the only way to make a difference, a peaceful way to make a difference, not that January 6th stuff we saw, but the only way to make a peaceful change is at the ballot box. And people need to understand your vote counts.
Well, let me tell you something.
To the bottom.
Let me, and I don't want to interrupt you, but and the thing about it, what you're saying is so true. But what is so sad about where we're at right now with our political literacy, when you even talk about the gains of the 60s, or you bring up the passing of the Voting Rights Act and all that, or you even bring up Martin Luther King, people now you start talking about that, it's like you Charlie Brown's parents with the wah. They not trying to hear that, Sharif. We're so far separated from that now. You know, I think those liberties that our ancestors, a lot of them died for, are taken for granted, or at this point sometimes totally ignored, and they're oblivious to these rights and why we should vote. I mean, and you know, and again, we're so woke now that we have other reasons not to vote.
Well, from my perspective, there is never a good reason not to vote.
I didn't say it was a good reason. I'm not saying it was a good reason. I'm saying that these new woke folks have other reasons. They're not oblivious to the rights, but they have conjured other reasons not to participate. Which, go ahead, Felicia.
I have a question too, but I was wondering, can we just bring Larry on? If you have time to stick around, Magistrate Rucker, we'll just bring in our other guest who's on waiting, but I can just pose the question.
I know who Larry is. I know exactly who Larry is. So
everybody knows Larry.
LG Jr., the Fresh Prince of Lee Harvard. Larry.
How are you?
Hey, Larry, how are you?
First of all,
Magistrate. Magistrate Rucker, thank you very much for, perspectives that you have.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, and I interviewed this guy before, so I know that I was going to be waiting for a little bit. So I understand. But he brings up a perfectly good point. Actually, I hate to make a correction for you, Chill. I looked at the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections.
Okay.
It was actually 26.1%.
Okay, well, I was in the ball for
26.1%.
23. Okay, 26.1.
You was in the bar.
An abomination.
Right.
But Larry, first of all, introduce
Yeah, it
yourself.
was.
The people know who you are. Most people, the Chill Talk audience knows who you are, but introduce yourself again.
Larry H. Gardner, internet radio host, producer of the Headline Eye on Nerve DJs from 6 to 8 on Wednesdays, and on Fridays, Voice It Radio, Headlines and Headaches. The original Headlines and Headaches on voiceatradio.com. So that's who I am.
Now, Larry, you and I were together last night to what a lot of people are saying, we witnessed history. Certainly a major shift in Cleveland politics. And you and I talked extensively last night that literally no one saw the election of Justin Bibb to this position early on. What do you think? How do you think we arrived at this moment? What does it say about Cleveland politics? And what are your thoughts on the victory, substantial victory, as my battle rap fan said, clearly won? How do you think?
I ask a question while we were on the voting topic real quick? I just had a question about the voting before we move back to the mayoral election. So I just wanted to ask you two, or you three, I mean, Chill, you can jump in on this as well, but why do you think people are not really coming out to the ballot? So Chill mentioned a little something about, being woke and having certain issues that are keeping people from saying, I'm not going to vote. Do you think people are just tired? Do you think people really don't feel like there's going to be any change, or there hasn't been? I mean, almost every 4 years or so, we're hearing of a new politician that's saying that they're going to change the ways that things have been done, but the way that things have been done continue to keep being done. So I don't really know what the answer is, or why people aren't getting out to the polls, but I don't know if anybody has a theory or wants to jump in on it.
I'll let our guests weigh in on that.
All right. First of all, voter apathy. You said there's nobody else. The woke folks, sometimes the woke folks agree with the white supremacists sometimes. So I don't stay away from that, because that's the same, like white supremacists want the woke folks not to vote so they can vote their people in. That's number and sometimes they say the same things or similar, but it's voter apathy. I don't know, my vote doesn't make a difference. I'm not valued or respected enough to make a difference with my vote. Number two, last night was an historic victory for Justin Bibb, because he looked like somebody that was different. Everybody is the same, everybody has the same name. In the city of Cleveland, we vote by the name recognition. O'Malley, Jackson, whatever.
Sweeney.
Sweeney, thank you very much.
Celebrate.
Another one. Okar, we vote by the name recognition because they've been in power for so long. So people feel like they don't need my vote because they're going to win anyway. They're going to have enough votes from their base. They're going to win anyway. So we're just going to see them again in the next election cycle. That's the thing. Voter things of that nature. We see the same looking candidate. Magistrate Rucker brought it up. People if you have a magistrate or a judge that looks like you and me, then we can get behind that person. Andrea Nelson Moore, who lost twice, who's now just a Cleveland Municipal Court judge. When she finally won, you have people that look like you on the bench. That's why it's important to have a Judge Michael Ryan or a Rotario Rucker or anybody that looks like one of us in that judicial seat, so they can understand differently what's going on. When you push those certain types of minority candidates, especially African-American men in those judicial seats that understands where we come from, then it's going to be easier to talk to that particular judge and say, yes, I messed up. What can you do? Can you help me? Instead of looking at a Caucasian judge and be like, all you're gonna do is throw me in jail anyway. What I usually get is that voter apathy because they don't look like me or you. And I think one of the reasons that Joe Biden got pushed over to being president of the United States, it wasn't because of Joe Biden, it was because of his vice president, Kamala Harris. Some people are uncomfortable with change, but the thing about it is that sometimes God makes you change, makes you uncomfortable for change. And I do believe in a higher power, like he will make you change something to make sure that the comfortability that you have as far as dealing with corruption, that gets moved out the way.
Change should be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it should be uncomfortable. That's a lot of times we don't get change until we're uncomfortable.
Right, exactly.
Can I piggyback on something
yes,
that
please.
Larry said? Let me say this. Please understand, the fact that you have a person of color on the bench doesn't mean you won't be sentenced if you did something that is deserving of being sentenced.
Talk to
them. They think just because you're a person of color that you just gonna let them go. Oh no, that's not how that works.
The bruh man,
bruh, come on, bruh.
Oh no, that's not how that works. Because see, if you come in my courtroom and you have committed a crime with a gun, we got a problem. Okay, right. We got a problem because one, you underage, you shouldn't have a gun. Okay, and there's no good reason that you can give me as to why you have a gun. Okay, so please understand, my whole thing about having diversity on the bench is I'm looking to put more role models and for people to have a different perspective. Okay, because there are times when I can do something to try to help you. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other day, I put a young lady into placement. She got mental health and substance abuse issues. And I put her into a placement, a residential facility, so that she could get the help she needed. But let's be honest, once she gets out of that facility, she's still going back to the same home environment, the same community environment. So what the court does and what people don't understand is the court is a back-end investment type of piece. Okay, we need more front-end investment. We need more investment in schools, and we need more investment in jobs. We need more investment in after-school programming. We need more investment in school curriculum. And how do we get that? People have to vote, because you have to vote people in who believe in those concepts. But if you feel your vote doesn't count, then you do, like as Larry says, you're going to get the same old.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And to add what Larry said, not just apathy, but the cousin of voter apathy is disenfranchisement. So people are not just apathetic; they feel disenfranchised.
Right.
So that's it. I do want to say we have the link in the chat. I see Johnny Dent in the audience. Johnny Dent, if you want to grab the link and jump in here. Please do so. And all the people that we see watching what's going on. Antonio, my mom's in the building. Linda Thomas, Pamela Mason. Good job getting that information out and I think you contributed to getting this brother on here. But yeah, if share this link, and Johnny Dent, if you want to go ahead and grab that Zoom link and come in. Felicia, can I talk to Larry about the mayor's race? We watched it. We were together.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing about name recognition. Now, we heard about it from one perspective, but is it bad if you vote for somebody because their name sound black?
Hey,
I mean, like, I don't know who these people is, but this person sound black.
That's like when you seriously though. If you're not up on your candidates, hey, sometimes you gotta go for you should be educated on the candidates. That's first and foremost. Don't jump in there not knowing who you're voting for.
Look,
but Felicia, sometimes in a pinch, if we don't know, We
Yeah.
voting for Leroy Jenkins.
I mean, I'm partially joking. I mean, I try to, if there's people I don't know about or whatever, I try to look up the issues or the offices or whatever to see who's running and try to get as much information as I can to make an educated decision on who I want to vote for. But I will admit, yesterday it was something on the ballot I didn't know was going to be on the ballot. And when I just looked at all them names, I know all them people, I was like, she sound black.
I'm voting for Pamela Brown.
Well, Felicia, I'm gonna tell you, when I ran for the general division in 2018, I talked about change. I talked about changing the narrative because I talked about the fact that we need to put qualified people on the bench. Okay. Now I understand that people assume that if you are running for judge that you're qualified, but there's certain levels of qualification. If you have never tried a case in your life, if you have never stood on your own 2 feet and had to make bricks without straw, then you don't understand the trial process. That means you're not necessarily going to be a very good judge. So the bottom line is, I say, whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're Hispanic, whether they're Asian, whether they're Native American or any other type of minority, that they should be qualified. And we should not just vote for people just because of a name. Right. Now, I do understand that some people in a pinch, if they don't know what's going on, they vote for a name that looks familiar. Okay. And I'm hoping that in 2022, Rucker will look very familiar to everybody.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
But I'm saying people should look at the people, look up and understand who you're voting for. Understand what his or her qualifications are. Understand where they stand on the issues as best as you possibly can. Because as a magistrate, I'm not allowed to get deep into certain issues. Okay. But when we talk about judicial reform, I can talk about that because, well, now Justice Donnelly talked about judicial reform when he was running to be Justice Donnelly. Okay. And so I can talk about that. Anybody can talk about that who's in my position. And it's fair game because we do need judicial reform because the judicial system should be fair and equitable to everybody.
Yes.
To everybody.
Absolutely.
It should not make a difference what you look like. It should be fair. I don't care if you're black or white. I don't care if you're straight or LGBTQ plus. I don't care if you're Muslim or Christian or an atheist. I don't care what you are. The system should be fair.
Be fair.
And that's the bottom line.
Justice is supposed to be blind.
And segueing, using that as a segue, I believe that my fraternity brother, the mayor-elect of Cleveland, is going to do a very good job of making some of those changes and making some things fair. Okay.
How did we get that fraternity brother part in there?
That's because I'm smooth with my stuff.
Man, let me change
he wearing more your colors than he is now.
Let me change my background up in here.
All right. We know you're a Catholic.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. But no, brother, everything that you said, and we hope. And Felicia, can I talk to Larry about the mayor's race now?
Yes, I was gonna try to segue into that anyway to talk about, even we've been talking about this whole name recognition thing or whatever, but like Chill and I talked about earlier in the show, Justin Bibb essentially came out of nowhere. Like no one knew who he was. So people were, name recognition, because we're always trying to look to see like, who is this person? Where can we place them? We need a box to put them in or something. So with being Bibb, we like, well, is he related to Leon Bibb? He must be related to Leon Bibb. So, okay, we're going to give him a check for that. He black. Okay, so we can give him a check for that. But, who is he and how did he essentially come out of nowhere? And now he's the next mayor of Cleveland.
Well, actually, I knew who Justin was before because I had an opportunity to view several interviews he did, on a forum, Chasing Justice. And I had an opportunity to review those interviews that he did before he ever became a member of my fraternity. And I was impressed with him at that particular point in time. just so you know. So I because I was doing my research. So for me, he didn't come out
before he became an alpha.
Yeah.
Because the alpha thing is new.
before he came out, because that's what alpha men do. We do our research. Thank you very much. Anyway, listen, I'm going to let Larry talk about the whole, mayoral thing, and I'm going to get off because my thing was the diversity piece.
Hey,
But
brother, I appreciated you.
all. It is good to see you all, Larry. I look forward to seeing you in the future. All right.
You will, Magistrate Rucker. When you run again, you know who to call. Don't mess around.
You got it.
All right.
All right, we appreciate you for coming on the show, bro.
So much.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Larry. Now we talked yesterday. I know you didn't see this coming, and if you tell me you did, you're lying. So
actually, before first, I didn't. The thing about it is that everybody was running for mayor. I had LaToya Witcher and a couple other people, and everybody was throwing their hat into the ring. So I was going down the list, to be honest with you, and
because even Nick Turner was even on the list before the whole Congress seat became available, I believe.
Yeah. So what happened was that, and the thing about it is, I was just dealing with the congressional race because that was coming up between Chantel, Nina, Jeff, John, Tariq, and everybody else. So I was dealing with that. So I was like, I'm throwing these interviews in here because the mayor's race is also coming up in Cleveland. So to be honest with you, I saw Justin, and the funny thing is like my former church, Sure House Baptist Church, Justin stopped into. And a couple of places, like there was a thing at Greater Abyssinia as far as, the vaccinations and the face masks, where the face masks, and everybody came out to, Zach came out when he was still running, and Justin came out when he was still running. So I was like, and I didn't know Justin, but I knew Ryan Puente, who was his campaign manager.
right.
I knew, like, I heard about Ryan and knew Ryan and what he was doing. So Ryan said, you should have him on the show. So funny thing is that Ryan introduces me to a guy named Ken Johnson, Kenn Johnson. Ken Johnson, it was Justin's field campaign manager, like on the ground knocking on doors. So I was like, people knew Ken, and actually my girlfriend, Marissa Clark, well, now I don't know what she's been so busy. I don't know what we are right now, but that's another
Lord. Lord, come on.
That's another show.
That's another show, Larry.
That's another show for another day. She knew Ken because they worked together on the Obama campaign, and said that Justin also worked on an Obama campaign. So, but Justin came in March. He interviewed me in March. And the thing about it is, after his interview on the Headline Eye, he impressed me so much. And the thing about it is, I did ask him the Leon question, and he said that's his cousin. So it's like, and I respect Leon, we all do.
Right.
So the thing is that this guy is like, I did some research on him. Alpha, one of the youngest nonprofit executives at Gallup, multi-billion-dollar company with you run a multi-billion company. billion-dollar company with KeyBank executive board, RTA executive. I ride the bus. So the RTA thing is very important to me. And you help build that. So it was like, wow. I was impressed by this young man, and when I saw him in person, he stood up as being a leader. And then the thing about it is, like, he's young. That was the only knock on him is that he's young. He's 30-something odd years old. He's
right.
Like,
not only that he's young, but he had never held political office. Right.
Oh, you know what? Let me explain something about that political office thing. The reason
Donald
that
Trump.
before that, let me explain something about that political office thing. Back in 2017, when Frank Land ran his last time, the guy that owns Edwin's, Brandon Trudisky?
Yep.
Brandon in the primary had 4,800 votes in the primary. He was four. He finished fourth in the primary. The only people that finished above him was Mayor Jackson, Zach Reed, and Jeff Johnson. So that means Cleveland was ready for some type of change. So they didn't want the same politicians and things of that nature. So imagine somebody that had a better field, a better ground campaign, who is more in tune with the community. and is not running against the people that have been career politicians for a while. If somebody comes along, they could overtake the mayoral seat.
So Larry, are you trying to tell me that because Edwin came in fourth, that you saw Justin coming in first? That's an anomaly.
No,
Fourth,
I didn't see. The thing about it is,
You just saying
Justin,
you see that people are ready for change. Like
Right.
it was
I'm seeing people ready for change. See, that the thing about it is people are ready for change. The only reason, and a reason why, the only reason that Zach Reed is not mayor right now in the city of Cleveland is because he took that endorsement from the police union from Steve Loomis, who was a known Trump supporter, and it upset African-American people to no end. That's what happened. That's how Frank won the last time. Everybody expected Frank to either leave now or run one more time.
right.
So when Frank decided, I'm leaving now, then it opened for everybody. And the thing about it is that everybody else stepped into the race. Now you have, I didn't expect Justin to finish first in the primary. I expected Justin to make some noise like Brandon Trudisky to get a little bit more votes. But the knocks on him because he never held political office. That was the one knock, and he's young. That's the other knock. You know, he was told to wait. He probably
And both of those two things end up being plus points for him.
Right, because he was young. And the thing about it is, and the thing about it is, I didn't like the only time I expected him, I expected him to go past the primary was when I saw him on that debate stage with everybody else. When Kevin Kelly was arguing with taking shots at Dennis Kucinich and Kucinich was firing back at Kevin Kelly. When Bashir Jones was taking shots at Zach Reed, I'm like, something's not right here. I think some of these people were put in there to take away votes from somebody else because they don't want this person in there. So I think that Bashir Jones went into the mayor's race to take votes from Zach Reed because he was that powerful, and he probably could
I actually thought that him and Justin would split more votes because of they're closer in age. You know, just that kind of young Black professional crowd. I thought that those two would split votes.
Right. And I thought that any other Black candidate, like Larry was saying, would take away votes from Zach because in the last mayor election, Zach came in second.
Right. He took away.
So he would have been the person who you thought would have had the best chance. Like, okay, he didn't beat Frank Jackson, but possibly he could beat Kevin Kelly and the rest of the field.
Right.
But because there were 4 Black candidates, it was Sandra Williams,
Zach,
Sandra,
Bashir, and Justin.
Right.
Yeah. So that vote.
Yeah, that was split up.
And they all kind of had around the same amount of votes. Those 3. I mean, Justin blew everybody out the water, but those 3 had around the same amount of votes, that 4,000 some odd mark. And
when that happened, that's when I knew that something was about to change. Because all those votes that Justin got, a lot of those votes weren't Black East Side votes. Because a lot of those Black East Side votes went to the people we just talked about, went to Bashir, went to Zach, went to Sandra Williams. And I'm like, where did he get those votes? And once you understood that he got a lot of those votes outside of the Black East Side votes, you know that when it came down to just him and Kevin Kelly, I think at that point, you know, everybody kind of saw the handwriting on the wall.
Right. Yeah. The thing about it is like somebody else told me, Stan Edward Moore, the lead singer of Cats. He was like, when he worked over on the West Side in July, he was like, he told me that this guy has signs everywhere. When I first met my girl, she was like, she lives on the West Side, like close to Lakewood in Cleveland. In Cleveland, there was signs, bib signs everywhere on the West Side. He was appealing to those young white professionals over there in Tremont.
In Tremont, in Ohio City. University Circle. That is exactly, I think, how he
had a lot on the LGBTQ community as well. Very big with them.
and a lot of the West Side. I was at the debate that he did on West 25th that the young Latinx community hosted, and our girl Rosie Munoz was the moderator for that, and he handled that, and they loved him on West 25th, and I think at that point we saw that this could not only be an upset, but as it turned out, I won't call it a landslide, but it was a runaway for sure.
It was. I mean, he did take. I said it on the show tonight. He did take Kevin. Me and Jay Price. We agreed. He did take Kevin Kelly behind the old tool shed, and I think. And Jay said that Kevin Kelly is pissed, and I said, why is he pissed? And I said the reason why he pissed is because he never expected this young executive to take. Everybody said that this is your time, Kevin Kelly. I'm the city council president. I should be the rightful heir to the throne of mayor.
He felt entitled, and he didn't game plan for Justin. He game planned for Zach. He game planned for Zach Reed, and he had conduits to kind of cut into Zach's Black African American East Side votes, and he actually may have done that. He may have been successful, but that's not what made him lose. He didn't game plan. Nobody was prepared to game plan for Justin Bibb.
That's because of the career politician, because Justin had nothing that you can no bad marks.
Right.
The good thing is about him not being not having a seat is because there's no bad marks. Like Bashir, you messed up in Ward 7. What did you do in Ward 7? Zach, the DUIs, Sandra, you're a state representative. You couldn't game plan for Justin because Justin actually had nothing on you to game plan for.
Right, but nobody was even thinking about game planning at that point. But when it came down to him and Kevin Kelly was unprepared. And plus, with Kevin Kelly representing representing the establishment became a bad thing at that point, because any problem you had with Frank Jackson, you can lump that on Kevin Kelly's lane. Right. Any problem that you had with the police chief, of course, Kevin Kelly didn't hire the police chief. Any problem that you had with the establishment, even on the mayor's side, that stuck to Kevin Kelly. So what he thought would be a benefit to him ended up being a liability.
A liability, not a liability, a detriment. And the thing about it is that $15 an hour minimum wage, I brought that up when he was at Shore House, that $15 an hour minimum wage. He said he agreed with it for the state, he agreed with it for federal, but he didn't agree with it for the city of Cleveland to raise the minimum wage. Okay, you agree for it for the federal employees, but what about the rest of us hardworking people, because it would take away grocery stores and things of that nature? That was stuck in the craw with voters, is because you took that off the ballot. If you could take the minimum wage off the ballot, then issue 24 that just passed.
I was just about to tell you, issue 24 also did Kevin Kelly in.
Right.
He truly believed, and I heard the points he were making, but the people of Cleveland, they just weren't having that side of the argument. They were not having it. He made a valiant effort to try to speak to the benefits of the other side, but the people of Cleveland weren't. That was a tough sell for Kevin Kelly, and I also think that affected him.
Yeah, that did too. And the thing about it is, like, he tried to use that, he tried to use the defund the police thing, which is a Trump quote, a Trump-Lintian quote, and voters saw right through that. After 4 years of the Donald, a lot of people have gotten smarter. And when you have a lot of people and when you see some things that remind you of what you went through, the trauma that you went through 4 years ago, 4 years of dealing with that, man, you don't want that anywhere near either your city hall or anything else. You want near that at a PTA meeting. If you got crazy like that, you don't want anywhere. Like, if you're doing stuff like that, And the thing about it is like by the time issue 24 in the last week, I think Kevin Kelly was getting desperate at that point. And that's why I actually endorsed Justin, because what I saw between the two, especially that town hall in Ward 1 and Ward 2, what Jay was doing is that Kevin Kelly is a 16-year career politician. He's been 8 years in city council. Kevin Kelly looked uncomfortable around us skin folk, and he looked uncomfortable asking the questions off the cuff. He even tried to get questions. His camp tried to get questions before. We didn't give neither one candidate the questions. Kevin Kelly looked skittish. Justin looked so damn confident.
He was polished.
He was polished. And understand his cousin is Leon, who's been in the game for all this time. He's been trained under Michael R. White, who's the former mayor of the city of Cleveland, and obviously in some people's minds, one of the greatest mayors of the city of Cleveland in their time. And also he has worked with Barack Obama on his campaign. So he's learned, he's studied, he's helped other big city mayors. He's been around, he's been in the nonprofit and the high profit, states of the city of Cleveland.
And he had the clergy support. He had that Jawanza Colvin machine behind him. He had the clergy. Again, as somebody said in the chat, hats off to Ryan Fuentes as a campaign. And I sat and met. I actually had breakfast with Ryan and we talked over a few things. He's given credit to Ryan. I thought they did a really good job of getting votes in places that we weren't looking for that young man to get those votes at. He didn't just get those. Yeah, go ahead, Felicia.
So do you think it just really came down to that, to strategy? Because if we look at, old school politics, it was Kevin Kelly's time, right? He served on council, then he became council president. The mayor is retiring, so all right, it makes sense. He's next up,
right?
And then he had the name recognition, the people, especially in these East Side Black communities, backing him. He had Kevin Conwell. He had Blaine Griffin. Surprisingly, he also had Bashir Jones. But it just didn't work. So why is that? I mean, when you actually look, like when I look at the results, so from Ward 6, which is Blaine's ward, he Justin Bibb had 2,279 votes. Kevin Kelly had 550. Ward 7, which is Bashir's ward, Bibb had 1,932 votes. Kelly had 599. And in Ward 9, which is Kevin Conwell's ward, Bibb had 2,326 votes and Kelly had 477.
Let me break that particular down to you, Felicia, right about now. There was a couple of people. My youngest sister Selena lives in Ward 7, Bashir's ward. When Bashir came out for Kevin Kelly, she was mad at Bashir. Bashir has done, like, pretty much, people remember that time when Bashir called the police when Dr. Umar Johnson was there at the African American Cultural Museum. People didn't forget about that.
First of all, can we call that man by his correct name?
Who, Dr.
No,
Johnson? Bashir, okay.
All right, go ahead.
Bashir.
A lot of people were upset about that too. It's funny you bring that up because I just went on a road trip a couple weeks ago and my friend's father who was in there, he was like, I don't like him ever since there. He was there at the event. I was there actually at the event. I think you were there too, Larry, when it happened. But it did leave a bad taste in a lot of folks' mouths.
It left a bad taste in Ward 7 and in his mouth. And the thing about it is that Bashir, one of the, like, Blaine wants to be city council president. Blaine was actually supposed to run for mayor of Cleveland.
Blaine will be city council president.
But the thing about it is that that's why he's supported, because there's an unwritten rule that white mayor, black city council president, black mayor, white city
That's
council
correct.
president. So that's an unwritten rule to, to balance out, the color in the community in the city of Cleveland, which I don't think that should be the case, but I don't make the rules, or I don't make the unwritten rules. Kevin Conwell, there's a lot of people that are mad at Kevin Conwell because the only thing they think he do is just drum all the dang time.
Oh,
So,
come on now. Come on now. Let me tell you something. Hey, I know I may be biased because that's my
that's
boy.
your dash, but
we
That's
just
my
know-
dude now.
Yeah,
I
we-
didn't see him in action. I know he do more.
Let me tell you something.
But the thing about it, you gotta. But the thing about it is, ask Reverend E.T. Cabot is a great Abyssinia. He's not happy with Conwell right now.
Let me tell you
He's not
something.
happy.
Well,
some
that's
folks ain't happy with him either.
that's
so,
what I was going to say.
Yeah, true.
Well,
Yeah. Happy with
just
E.T.
point of
Cabot.
fact, if you go and see what Kevin Conwell prides himself on, is that he stands out in creating and writing policy.
Right.
He hangs his hat on that. And so, obviously, the man plays the drums, but as a councilman, he works hard for his ward, that Glenville ward, and he's steadfast on generating and writing policy. So I just wanted to say that real quick. What's going on to my brother Ty? Well, he said stay off of my homeboy Kevin Conwell. Yeah, my man Sean is in the building. Where your book at, Sean? Bow. Stay tuned. We're gonna have Sean on here in some form of fashion. We're gonna do something big for Sean and his new book, What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me. But yes, it's very exciting. And as Felicia just broke down those numbers, those endorsements didn't help him. Didn't help Kevin.
Neither did that video of him dancing at the Ward 7.
No, that didn't. That really didn't.
Well, him and Kevin Kelly was doing the Millie Rock.
Right, yeah, but the thing about it is that that a lot of people who endorsed Justin, one of those was Nina Turner, and I think when she came out for Justin, that really pushed whatever he had, because when Nina Turner ran against Shontel Brown and everybody else in that particular field in that congressional primary runoff, Nina actually won Cleveland. Shontel won the suburbs. That's how that's why she's being sworn in Washington right now, after pretty much taking Laverne Gore to the tool shed. Unfortunately, I think, like Laverne Gore, Kevin Kelly.
Nobody was even watching that race. They
I like
we already knew.
But we knew that was a foregone conclusion. A Republican is not going. It doesn't matter who it is. Not today, not tomorrow. Maybe 30 years from now, but a Republican is not win that congressional seat, no matter who it is. So the rest was Nina and Shontel, but and congratulations to Shontel, who
congratulations to her. It's just that there was a backlash in the wards. Okay, we're gonna vote for the councilman. Ward 1, Ward 2. A lot of these councilmen stayed silent, like Joe Jones in Ward 1. He was going through his own thing in Ward 1. Mike Polensek in Ward 8, excuse me. And a couple other people that just didn't come out, for anybody. Those wards, however, and you've seen all those wards, however, said there was a secret backlash. You can vote for whoever you vote for. You can endorse whoever you vote for, councilman. We're going with Justin Bibb.
Well, Larry, I don't hate to interrupt, but I do want to remind everybody that those endorsements came out prior to the general election. Those endorsements weren't designed to beat Justin Bibb. Those endorsements were designed to beat Zach Reed.
Hey.
They were designed to chip away at Zach's black votes. Because once it came down to Kevin Kelly and Justin Bibb, all those black votes was going to Justin.
Yeah.
They didn't care who the hell what councilman was representing Kevin Kelly. Now, it may have worked if he was running against Zach, but again, That was a game plan that wasn't drawn up for Justin Bibb. It may have worked against Zach.
It might have,
It may have, but it damn sure didn't work against Justin.
No, it didn't work against Justin. It was never going to, like, the thing about it was never going to work against him. You had nothing on him. Nothing. Not even like maybe they brought up some eviction thing or whatever, but who ain't been like one paycheck away from getting kicked out their house?
That makes it more relatable.
Thank you. That makes it like that makes you more relatable. It's like, well, he lives in this fancy apartment downtown. Who doesn't want a black man? I want to live in a fancy apartment downtown. Who doesn't want that? Justin is like the ultimate dream person.
It was a bad scenario. They had no answers.
Nothing.
But Justin, once it got down to him and Kevin Kelly.
To jump in on that, like what you're saying about it, like being relatable. So this past weekend was the Rock Hall induction. And I was gonna go, but I ain't have I ain't got my vaccine, so I couldn't go. And I ain't have a negative testing time, so I couldn't go to the actual induction. But I did go to the event they had afterward downtown at the House of Blues. And while I was there, Justin Bibb is there, Chantel Brown is there, and Danielle Sidnor, president of NAACP.
So, right.
It's just like you're just in this room with these, like people of power, and you feel like like they're touchable, they're relatable. You know what I mean? These aren't people that are up in some office,
right,
pushing buttons and making decisions and not in touch with the people. So at first I was like, why the future mayor in here at the party?
Because he likes Kanye West. That's why. And he like
Jay-Z. He did drop a Kanye joint. But
as long as he ain't wearing no MAGA hats, he can cool. He can
right. But here's the thing. When Ryan and Cam brought Justin to the show, when I introduced everybody with a instrumental, I introduced Justin Bibb's instrumental, and it was Kanye West, Touch the Sky. And I was playing it, like you play hip hop during the break, and he was relating to it and, was talking about it back and forth. And the thing about it is like, I went to Jay-Z concert when he was at the Woolstein Center. He's like, how was that? And just on break, he's a relatable dude. He's one, like the thing about it is you can talk with Justin. You can talk with Justin. You can actually have a conversation with Justin. You can actually be around Justin and you can, the reason why I say he's as a mayor, he's relatable is because he gives a damn. That's the main thing. That's why people voted for him. That's why I endorsed him, because he recognizes internet radio, small radio, maybe smaller shows, not on the radio. His campaign manager sent me to Birds and Birds.
All right, Larry, the further away you walk, you losing Wi-Fi signal. Wherever you walk.
Can you hear us, Larry?
Wherever you walking to, you walking away from your signal.
Me okay, let me just get back because it was. Yeah, I can. Walking back. So Burgess, he entered. The thing about it is that you can. And Justin reminds me of what I want my son to be. My 9-year-old son to be. The monolithic black man. You ain't got to be this thug. You ain't got to be that. You can be smart and articulate. You don't have to go through all the stuff. You got to prove yourself to be tough. That's what we want from our children. You don't have to play basketball. You can be a doctor when you grow up. You can be mayor of Cleveland. You can be president of the United States. And I think the reason why is because you want that role model and that example.
Yeah. And change is in the air too, because I don't know if you guys saw that Pittsburgh elected their first black mayor.
Yeah, I did that.
you know,
Yeah.
our twin. I mean, as much as we feel a rivalry, a football rivalry, Pittsburgh is a lot of ways our Rust Belt twin, our Rust Belt,
Right.
our Rust Belt sibling, and so change was in the air.
Change has to be in the, it has to be in the air because we've been going through the same corrupt system for a long, long time. And the thing about it is like, you know, Kenneth Johnson, the corrupt now sentenced former councilman in Ward 4, you know, that was under Kevin Kelly's watch and Mayor Jackson's watch. So if Justin could go in and shake some of these city council people up and get some of these rotten apples out of there that are doing the same things that Kenneth Johnson did, why not? Why not vote for him? We had the same old for over 16 years. There's been a high rate of homicides, Cleveland, high rate of homicides, low rate of opportunities and career opportunities for people. Why not? Why don't we give it
the worst major city for Black women?
Right. That too, everything. So why not give him a chance? Why not give him a try? That's what people was like. I saw him after the interview I did with him. I did see him coming. I saw him finishing number 2 in the primary. I never thought he would finish number 1. When he finished number 1, I'm like, oh.
Oh, got a problem?
He was a problem. He was there. Everybody. I think Kevin Kelly saw that at that point, like, oh, damn.
Like I'm running into this.
I think he was banking on getting those percentage votes. And
he
then
should have.
Yeah.
But he dog percentage in the primary though. He dog percentage so bad about the muni
because percentage was cutting into his votes. He had to separate himself from Dennis Kucinich. He had to separate himself from that.
And the thing, and here's the crazy part about that whole thing. While everybody was trying to browbeat and backbite each other, Justin Bibb just looked and calm and just started talking about everything else. He just was so calm and so smooth and so polished. He was like, I mean, when you have somebody that's calm and smooth and polished like that, and like, you know, he's gonna get angry. Of course he's gonna get angry. But the thing about it is like, you know, anybody would. But when you have like smooth and polished and everybody's backbiting each other and things, like every time that I saw him in a form like that, he always looked smooth and polished. He always brought up, you know, his father was a cop. His mom did this. He always brings up those, he brings up those core values and he talks about, you know, Cleveland needs new change in the city. He has those things. And whatever Kelly tried to make it as buzzwords, people was like looking at this guy like, well, and then on the flip side, you said Zach Reed's recording council. Now everybody looking at Kevin Kelly's recording council. What have you done for Ward 13? There was people at the
Brooklyn, right?
Brooklyn. There's Latino people who live in Ward 13 in Kevin Kelly's ward that was at the Justin Bibb watch party and was like, you haven't done anything in your ward. You haven't done anything as city council president. So why are you talking?
Kevin Kelly, I'm gonna tell you, this is my opinion. Kevin Kelly ran a good regular campaign. In a regular day, he did everything he was supposed to do to win.
He followed the blueprint.
He followed the blueprint, and he probably would have won if his opponent was anybody but Justin Bibb. Because he had to throw the book out at that point. He was like we said earlier, he didn't game plan for that. His game plan was for somebody different, and he did what he had to do. He got the other Black councilman to represent him, and that again, that may have worked if his opponent was he separated himself from Dennis Kucinich, which could have caused him a split vote problem in the primary, and so he sought to overcome that, but he didn't. Again, once you realize where Justin got all of those votes from, with all of those Black politicians in there, at that point you knew that Kevin Kelly was going to have a problem.
and like it was a wash. Pretty much. I had somebody told me, and Andrew Mislak from Bedford. He was Bedford Democratic Party, and I saw him at Southgate Lanes, and he told me like 2 weeks ago. And I interviewed now because there was a Secretary of State, Chelsea Clark. She's running for Secretary of State. She's a Black woman from the farm country of Ohio. Told me, and this is what he said to me. He said, I see Justin Bibb winning by double-digit votes. I see him winning and going away. I'm like, you don't think it's gonna be close? He's like, no. There's a lot of people that it's like Hillary Clinton not seeing Barack Obama coming.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who Obama was. I studied him, and then all of a sudden, in the primary against Hillary Clinton, he wins Iowa.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, ain't no Black man in the world ever won Iowa.
It's the same. It's the same blueprint. Hillary never game planned for Barack Obama. Who was going to game plan for a dude named Barack Obama?
Nobody.
Nobody was going to game plan for that.
So
he wasn't even on the radar.
Wasn't on the radar.
And I'm like, a Black dude running for president, like
a one-term senator. A one-term senator from Chicago named Barack Obama. No, she didn't game. I mean, Hillary was well, we already know. We're not even going to have to go back to Hillary.
We're going back there, but the thing about it is, when you said the same blueprint, I was just referring back to Barack Obama winning all those primaries, and it was like, wow.
And that's what I'm saying. When and you're right, when Obama won Iowa, that equates to the same thing as Justin in the primaries, getting all of them votes that we know didn't come from the Black East Side. That's a problem.
That was a problem.
I want to know what happens now. What happens? And I've been thinking this since, really the special primary between Chantel and Nina, Bashir not, making it past the primary. And now Kevin Kelly not being elected mayor, Zach not making it past the primary. So what happens to them now? I mean, especially for Nina Turner and Bashir Jones, in my opinion, it's like a next move has to kind of be your best move.
Well, I think Nina's running again. I think
she's running again.
I think Nina's running again.
She running again. The thing about it is like, that was just a special election.
Right.
The real election is Chantel has to sign, get sworn in, and start campaigning again in 6 months, and May will be here before you know it.
Mm-hmm. I think we might have a surprise in that race, to be honest. I ain't spilling no tea quite yet, but
you about to run, Felicia?
No, but I think another name recognition of a very well-known name in Cleveland, Black Cleveland.
All right.
Another family member may possibly be making that run for the next time. But well, that's my thing though with Nina. Like you saying, she's running again. So I'm like, well, what? She's ran for a couple offices now, unsuccessfully. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what happens now? Like, how many offices do you run for? Like, where is she going to land? Same thing for Bashir. It's like, you gave up your seat to run, and now your candidate that you rode with didn't win. So, like, what happens now?
I think that right now Bashir needs to start. Bashir may go back to radio or public speaking. He's going to have to get a job somewhere because December, by the time, December is coming right around the corner. By the time January, he's got to be out of Ward 7. Right. So, Kevin Kelly's going to be all right. Kevin Kelly was an attorney. So he's going to do private practice. He's going to have some influence behind the scenes with some other candidates. So Kevin Kelly's going to be okay. Jay said on the show, I said that Kevin Kelly's going to be okay. Zach Reed is probably going to be a part of Justin Bibbs'
Oh,
administration.
I guarantee you he will be a part of
he was part of that administration because he endorsed Justin. So, you know, Zach Reed might be the go-to as far as that. That's why I have Brother Reed's number in my phone because of that situation. So I understand that he's going to be a part of that. You know,
shout out to John F. Kennedy High School. We had a class reunion yesterday at the watch party. Myself, Zach Reed, photographer Brian Smith, and our class valedictorian, the Honorable Attorney Ernest Wilkerson, all from my class. So
it's the unofficial class reunion, not like
understand. Right.
You say we had a class reunion at the.
It was an unofficial class reunion.
It was unofficial.
John F. Kennedy, my class was in the house yesterday. But yeah, no, but and I think that that Nina, and as you pointed out, Felicia, well, first of all, Nina, she was never going to win when she ran against with Houston.
Yeah,
she was never
Houston.
Yeah. She was never. She just getting her name in the public eye, starting to get her war chest up.
Technically, she's never been an elected official either.
Yeah, no, she won. She when she ran again for Ward 1, she was appointed, and she beat Joe Jones' wife.
Okay.
Well, that was because Joe Jones was actually caught up in some stuff. That's
right.
Why
so she did. She did. She was initially appointed, but then she ran against Joe Jones' wife, and so she did win that. And then she was appointed to. She took Lance Mason's position at the state. But yeah, but no, I think that she's sent all signals that the squad and the Bernie and the progressives wing of the Congress are gearing up to come back at this again.
Has anybody checked out her podcast yet? I know she has a podcast on Thursdays. I have not yet listened to it.
I have not had a chance to listen to it. I probably will. I've been so busy.
It's on Charlemagne. Charlemagne has like a network with podcasters, and I think she's on there.
And I did talk to Nina for a hot second because she was at not Collinwood. She was at the young Latinx, the young Latinos debate for mayoral debate, and I got a chance to briefly talk to her outside, and so she said she would give me a call, so maybe we can look forward to getting Nina on the show to maybe let us know what her plans are.
Yeah, be dope. Have her
yeah, but I would think as of right now, we, like Larry said, I think she's definitely
he kept her. I think she kept her campaign chest open, like financial campaign things open, so that would push a run for next year. So she had a sizable war chest.
Yeah,
it's going to be. It may come down to it's going to be probably Chantel Nina too, and
because honestly, that race was a little bit like this one, like people were saying. Not Chantel. Nina had everything in place, the ducks in a row, and it just didn't end up turning out in her favor. The same way, we talking about Kevin Kelly, the way he had it lined up and prepared, that you thought that it would go a certain way, and it didn't. So very interesting.
Well, Felicia says she has some insight, a special
secret agent going run.
It is not yet confirmed, so I'm gonna hold on to it. But I just have a hunch.
Hey, hold on to that.
But it's not you, right?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't think nobody on this, unless Chill, you running for something.
Hey, I do think Joe got a little nervous when he saw me on a billboard in the Lee Harvard area. He was like, Chill, what? They told me you were on a billboard. What the hell is going on? I'm like, no, Joe, I told you it's for the COVID thing. I'm not running. Well,
I made sure I put it in the newsletter, so it did make the cut. You were in the newsletter.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So Joe, you mean Joe Jones? Yeah,
he
got ugly. That
He-
got ugly in one.
I think he was concerned when he saw me when he heard I was on a billboard in Ward 1,
Joe.
in my beloved Ward 1 Lee Harvard.
Right.
Real quick, big
Yeah.
to my brother Ife, who was elected to city council in Shaker Heights. So hats off to my brother Ife. And
That's what's up.
our girl Sydney Felicia did not win.
She didn't. Oh, I didn't even look up the Shaker election, so I didn't. Oh wow.
Sydney Strickland Saffold did not win for judge. Our sometime trivia nemesis.
And people were saying the exact same things about her, that she was young, she's inexperienced, you know, she wasn't ready enough. Which was interesting to me when I saw her campaign photo. I thought she was kind of trying to portray a look of being more seasoned.
Right. And she has the name. She has her mama's name.
Yeah,
she even rocked the Strickland part. So, you know, that's a name that people trust in local politics. That's Saffold name. But
well, this one they know. I don't know if they all trust it.
Right. Well, they know.
You can know it. I know the name. Do I trust the name?
Right. Well, her mother had been successful
right
for running for judge many years. So yeah, unfortunately, Sydney did not win, but I'm sure that she's not through running. Somebody else that we know ran and won. It'll come to me, but it was an interesting, invigorating November 2nd election day. So
you gotta give it. I always gotta give a shout out to Andrea Nelson Moore, Cleveland Municipal Court judge.
We tried to get her on the show. I thought she was coming on the show today. We're going to have to get Andrea and
she,
right, Larry.
She was. I think she did a Facebook Live this morning. She looked tired. She looked exhausted.
Man, she ran about 27 times. Persistence pays off.
Yes.
The Andrea Nelson.
Because people was counting her out. People was like, you know, and maybe that's what I'm saying. Like with the Nina Turner thing, like you done ran a couple of times, you know, people start counting you out. But like you said, Chill, that persistence, it can pay off.
Because Color did the same thing. Judge Lauren Moore went through that at first. She ran quite a few times, and but she was persistent, and now she's a mainstay on the bench. I don't even think anybody ran against her. So yeah, persistence in politics, you know, pays off. Steady the course. So you know, and we're gonna get. I'm really proud of Andrea because, you know, she ran so many times and she always ran a really good race, good campaign, but she was getting closer and closer each time. So
the last time she lost, she got outspent by Ashley Kilbane. I mean, when you got a $300,000 war chest for a judgeship, when you get out outspent like that, you know, it's hard to overcome that when you really African American candidates, we all know don't have we not sitting on a lot of money. So, and you gotta pop volunteers, food, things of that nature. I bring food up to the show almost every single week, and it's like expensive for me to do that every single week. Imagine doing that for every single event, fundraiser, and things of that nature. And it's like, but I'm glad, but the thing about it is Andrea Nelson Moore was persistent. And she and she did everything that she possibly could, and she won. And I'm glad of that. And I think that everybody the day after, I'm a little bit slap happy myself. So I've been burning, I didn't get up and prepare for the show until I usually get up around about 8:30. On Wednesdays, on 7:30, 8 o'clock to prepare for the show. I didn't get around to like 10:30 to prepare for the show.
Larry, when I left you and I shut down Olivet, at the end of the night, it was me and Pastor Colvin in the parking lot talking in an empty parking lot. And then I left there and went to the Academy Tavern thinking maybe I was going to run into Felicia. And I knew that they would be celebrating
I was there. I must have had I left a little bit earlier than usual last night because I thought I had an early meeting today, which I drove all the way over to the west side only to find out somebody had sent me on a wild goose chase. The meeting is next week.
That is
And
not
Felicia,
cool.
Will and at Academy Tavern, Will and I shut down the Academy Tavern. Everybody knows Will. What's the brother's last name? Who's on our show? Will Knight. Who ran for Congress. He and I talked until it was just us two. They was turning the lights out on us. Yeah. And but Larry, when you were saying you burned the midnight oil, I got home and it was such a long night. I treated myself to some Haagen-Dazs butter pecan ice cream. I woke up with the spoon still in my hand and the ice cream melted and I never even opened the container. It just a melted thing of Haagen-Dazs butter pecan with at the bottom of the cup.
You wasted like $4.
No, I shook it back up and put it.
Oh my God!
Oh, you was thirsty. You
was thirsty.
I didn't eat, but I'm like, oh man, it's like mad melted, and I know the pecans are at the bottom. I shook it up and stuck it back.
But here was the thing.
Long night yesterday, man.
But here was the thing. I got up yesterday at 5 o'clock. Because here's the thing. Monday I canvassed for Justin until 7. I was going to go to sleep because I knew I had to get up at 5 o'clock because I'm going to work the polls for Justin around about 5, 6 o'clock because I volunteered for that.
You was really on the team. Okay, Larry.
Yeah. So the thing about it is that he was my client, so I had to make sure that he won. I had to see that through. Like, you put money in my hand. I'm like, listen, you gonna put more money in here?
Wait. Larry, you on the tape? We can buy your votes?
No.
You can buy your endorsement. We can buy. No. I'll let you, because when I run, Larry, I'm gonna let you know. I slide you a couple.
Let me find out Larry got in his palm grease.
All right. Hold on. No, it wasn't like that. He paid for advertising for Nerve. I just want to make sure that we produce winners. And plus, I had a little personal vendetta against my former pastor, Aaron Phillips, because Phillips endorsed Kevin Kelly. And I was like, I told you about Justin was coming. So I was like, I sent a little petty text to Aaron Phillips, and I said this on.
Not Larry being petty with a former pastor.
Larry, you team petty.
I'm like, I was petty Betty last night, and Zach Reed encouraged it. I swear to God, Zach said, like I said, I'm gonna send a petty text to my pastor. Should I do it? Former pastor, he's like, I'll be mad if you didn't. So Zach. Zach,
and I got a chance to talk to Zach yesterday for a while. Talk to Larice Purnell.
Right.
Talk to Larice. Got a chance to talk to Mike Nelson for a minute. And it was, we had some good discussions yesterday.
Yeah.
And somebody came and asked me, Felicia, walked up on me and said, "Excuse me, brother, aren't you?" And I thought they was gonna say, "Aren't you MC Chill?" They said, "Aren't you Sam Silk?" I was like, oh,
dang.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Wow.
Big Sam Silk. Yeah, that was fun. Aren't you on the radio? I'm like, yeah, you know me.
Yes, me.
What?
Right. Wow. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Sam wasn't down there. The funniest thing, I woke up at 5. I went out to Westgate Mall Monday night because my friend wanted wings from Applebee's and he saw that I was down. So I was like, and I was going into Marshall's to get a belt because my belt was about to be worn down.
Somebody's butt. Felicia, first of all, let me tell you something. Larry was over there killing that food at the killing the snacks and the food at the watch party.
Larry, look, if you gonna set it out, Larry gonna take advantage of
it.
He put it out here for a reason.
They had pizza, they had some chicken, they had some chips, they had coffee, they Sprite. Man, Larry was getting it in yesterday.
Well, the thing about it is that I didn't eat anything until I got there. Because first of all, I was working the bib at 5 a.m. I didn't go to sleep till like 1. I woke up at 4, got ready. I got out of there. I worked until 10:30, volunteered for Justin's campaign at Jameson, went back home. I worked for the Get Out to Vote campaign for my nonprofit all the way up until like 7:30. I took a lift down there, like a 7 something. I took a lift down there. When you saw me, I didn't eat anything except some chips at the thing. I
You didn't
was
bring no
not.
foil in a grocery store bag with you, did you?
Man, Larry
I
was
didn't.
killing that pizza that they had over there.
He was like,
had
I'm about to take some ounce, get his bag out,
he had some
No,
chicken. They had some barbecue. Felicia, they had okay.
roll
First of
in
all, let
his
me tell you something.
foil.
At the Justin Bibb campaign, they rocked like 4 Parliament Funkadelic songs in a row.
Yeah, they did.
Aqua
Shout
Boogie,
out to
Flashlight.
Shout out to Hub's Groove.
They had
man.
Hub's Groove there. Hey, that was a funky campaign party. And they had chicken with barbecue sauce up in there. And chili Fritos.
And chili
I'm-
Fritos.
Chili
I miss the
Fritos.
chili Fritos. And the thing about it is, I didn't eat until you saw me eat.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a whole no, I really didn't. And the thing about it is like I've been running so much between working from home, doing the shows, and running and canvassing for Justin.
Rhonda's
Yeah.
laughing at Larry. She gave the laugh, the hey Larry laugh. What's going on, Rhonda Crowder? What's going on, Roxanne?
Hey, Rhonda.
John F.
Rhonda.
in the building. Johnny Dent, he didn't come up on here, but Denise likes Denise, I got a free ticket for you, Denise. Hit me up, Denise. You done won a ticket to the Denise won a ticket for all your Chill Talk love and support. We you always show up for you've been missing in action a couple of weeks, but Denise, holla at me and we'll get you a free ticket to the Motown event on November 6th. That's if you can make it. Let me know. But yeah, but no, we ready. I think we're ready to shut this down. But
You know what? The bottom line is that hopefully there's gonna be some improvements. And hopefully people can give Justin time to get this together because we've been through how we can, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Give him time to get this stuff together. Hopefully hopefully by the time Justin swears in Calvin Williams, we're already been packed up and left.
Felicia got jokes. Felicia, you got jokes on the Sam Silk. They thought I was Sam Silk.
Well, I didn't start it. So, but Melissa, my sister Melissa started it. She said, "Are you working?
Oh, I see that.
What you driving?
Are you driving? Are you
Hey,
working?
Felicia,
driving?
they was like, I know you. I'm like, yeah,
Well, okay, listen.
It
I'm
was
just
like
gonna be.
you was on the radio, like, yeah, you know me. I did it. It was like you, Sam Silk. I was like, oh, damn.
You was doing the
but-
Kappa."
All right. Did you now Shield, was this person of the Caucasian persuasion or he was one of us?
No, I'm not even gonna put him out there like that. But he was he was a brother, and I'm not even, but in his defense, the sister who thought I was Sam told the brother that that's Sam Silk. So he came over to me, and when I was
So
like,
he was going off some old botched info.
right, and he looked over at the other one.
Like, yeah, right.
And the bad part about it, I knew the brother. I mean, I don't know him, but anyway, I'm like, come on, man.
That's funny.
Come on, man.
But you know what, guys? It's been great talking to you. I'm still in the building at 173rd and Euclid. I'm going home. So I'm going to talk to you guys later. Chill.
Larry, you talk to your daddy. Tell your daddy I said, what's up, man?
You know what? I got to talk to him tomorrow. He's probably in Vegas. When I endorsed Justin on the show, I did talk to my father. And you know what my father said? My father said, you gotta go do it. It's your show. He said, we need change around here. Cleveland been nothing stupid. Like Cleveland been never been stupid.
Larry Gardner Sr., LG, my big
You know how to talk. When he said, he's like, I support you, like you support it. Like, I support this young brother because I think this young brother got Obama vibes. My father said that. So hey.
Hey,
and
when putting the cape on him at the swearing in ceremony.
I thought we was gonna get through this whole thing without the cape story.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here right now. I love you guys.
All right, Larry, we appreciate you hanging out with us, bro.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Larry.
Thank you, Felicia. Love the hat too, Felicia.
Thank you. Tell your daddy if he's still in Vegas on Friday. We got Cleveland's own Abdullah Mason is making his pro boxing debut in
Okay.
Vegas. This upcoming Friday. He signed to dang it, why is it escaping me? The big boxing
Don
company.
Don King, King Production.
Bob Arum, Floyd
All right.
Mayweather, Oscar
Floyd
De La Hoya,
No,
All right,
what's the Bob Arum?
Dragonfly Jones. Who?
What's his company called?
Kimbo Slice. Who?
Bob
don't know.
Arum's company.
Bob Arum. I forgot.
Top something.
Top
Yeah.
top
I'll-
flight
you know,
security.
All right,
I
but
can't-
I'll make sure that Felicia send me the information so I can tell my dad. Chill,
Yeah,
chill,
check it
chill.
out.
Chill. Do not go to sleep with the ice cream again.
I didn't even
know-
eat. I just had a spoon. I woke up with the spoon.
Oh,
my
my
hand.
God, you funny.
Even
All right,
open the thing of ice cream.
I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'm praying.
All
for
right,
you,
Larry.
too. All right.
All right, have a
All right,
good
peace,
one.
bro.
You too.
Felicia, why you gonna hit that man about his daddy in the Cape story again?
It's legendary. It has to be.
Okay, the inside for people who didn't hear this, I grew up with Larry's father. He was one of the OGs in my neighborhood, and I'll tell anybody, he looked out for the younger kids in the neighborhood. So he was like our big brother, our OG big brother. But he had got a gig with James Brown, putting the cape on James Brown during the Please Please. And man, we were so proud of him. Like, man, LG working with James Brown, putting the cape on him. LG was back like 2 weeks later. He was supposed to be on
On the first thing smoking.
50 city world tour. This was gonna last for 3 months. Larry was back 2 weeks later, talking about he forgot to put the cape on James, and James fired him. Larry, you're fired. Where's my cape, man?
It's over, Larry.
Hey, man, you back? Yeah, but no,
You got
big ups.
one good cape delivery.
Big ups to his man. His pops was an OG in the neighborhood, and definitely encouraged.
You had
encouraged
one
us.
job.
One job. But so
one
Felicia,
job.
you gonna tell me who's the secret candidate? What?
Yeah, we'll chat about it offline.
Damn. Okay.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking about offline, and then who knows if it. Melissa said on the Chitlin circuit.
And this was the James Brown World Tour, Tokyo, Mexico, Afghanistan, Islamabad. He went everywhere.
Speaking of all them places, this was a little change of subject, but what's up with OBJ? Where is he gonna land?
Okay, well, I didn't hear. The last I heard that they told him not to show up to practice, but I didn't hear anything about they said he wasn't gonna play in the game, or that they traded him. Did something new happen? You on mute? Oh, you must be talking to somebody else.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was on mute.
Okay.
So yeah, no practice. They told him no practice. And then I read something else that said that they was telling the teammates that he off the team for now. So I don't know. It was interesting because this morning when I was listening to the radio this morning, and they were talking about the whole trade situation. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening, like, are they gonna say anything about Odell Beckham? But they didn't. What they were talking about, and I don't know if you heard about this one, Chill, with the 22-year-old man that played for the Raiders.
Oh yeah, it was the guy that he accidentally killed somebody. What was it?
Reckless drive. I think
reckless driving. Yeah,
he was driving under the influence.
Impaired. They said he was impaired,
and he was going about 160 miles per hour and slammed into this woman. And I think like when he hit her, her car ignited and caught on fire, and it killed her and her.
Man,
So the Raiders released him. So I'm like, man, he's only a 22-year-old. He just lost, just in a blink of You know, he
You
just
hate to hear that on both sides of that story, man. That is unfortunate, and man, my thoughts, love and light to the friends and family of the victims of the accident, and to that young brother. Man, that's a tough one right there, and on both sides. So you're right, Felicia, but we keep talking about this in the blink of an eye. You never know what lies ahead. Speaking of which, I know we're waiting for you to make an announcement, maybe spill the tea on something new in the politics, but I also may have a super special chill announcement. Maybe in the next couple of days, we'll see something good, something big, and we'll announce it coming up soon.
Okay.
So, but I am not running against Chantel. That's my girl. And Nina's my girl too. Lee Harvard, stand up. No, I'm not running for Congress.
But you ain't saying nothing about Lee Harvard. Where you putting that? Where you got the billboards? Like, you ain't say you wouldn't run in there.
You're right. I didn't. You're right. I didn't. But they'll be. We'll make a chill announcement coming up soon. Something cool. All right. Well, we gave away one ticket. Anybody else want a ticket? Man, let's give them tickets away. Who on here wants Felicia? You got some relatives on here. Johnny Dent. Somebody, you don't even got to answer any questions. Just pop up in the thread saying, I want tickets to the November 6th, which is this Saturday.
Oh man, that's a come up, y'all. This is a come up. Y'all better jump on it.
And if you want the ticket, if you can't be there, say you can have a ticket for somebody else. You can gift them. But matter of fact, I'm making it a pair of tickets. So just pop up in the thread, say, yo, I want a pair of tickets, and we'll hook it up. And we about to shut down in like 2 minutes. So I know it's like a 40-second delay. So you ain't got a lot of time to do that. When you hear like, oh, wait, hold on. Once we sign off, it's, holla at Felicia. That's the last one.
Next week after we signed off. So we wait for people to jump in and tell us that they want their tickets, and y'all don't want to miss this show. So jump in and grab those free tickets. But I wanted to talk about so last week when we were doing giveaways, we talked about an upcoming giveaway we'll have for the movie King Richard. So that will be. Oh, we probably should have did that this week, Chill, because I think the movie screens next week on Thursday. We still have time to do it. So yeah, make sure y'all following us on Facebook and following us on Instagram, because we also will give away things there during the week. So stay tuned for that. We will have tickets coming up. So I got a chance to see it yesterday. And I would definitely recommend it. So I'm not giving my review yet, because the studio is asking that no reviews are given until next week. So I'm gonna hold off.
It's an embargo.
Yeah, the embargo. It's weird because it said the embargo is lifted, but they're still asking that people not post reviews until next week. So I'm not sure. That just seems kind of like an oxymoron. But...
Okay, well let me ask you this, because it's not a review. Is all the hype true that Will Smith may be looking for an Academy Award nomination for this role? Do you think it was nomination worthy?
I would agree, and the reason I say so is because when hold on one second. Sorry, I got some background noise. Y'all gonna have to just bear with me. So, the reason I say so is because, of course, I knew who Venus and Serena's father was. He was always present when they were around, especially back then in those days when they were really just fresh faces to the world. He was there, but it's not like I really knew him, knew his story all like that. So this is very insightful. I feel like it's well written the way that it plays out. But when I saw the trailer, I was kind of like, I don't know, you know, because he's doing the accent. Their father is originally from Louisiana, I believe. So he's got an accent, and Will was doing that thing. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if he's gonna pull this off. Let me see. But when I actually watched the film, I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it, and it made me, and like,
don't do the review. Don't get in trouble.
No. I'm not talking about what happens in the movie, but the casting, in my opinion, was very. Whoever cast it did a very good job. I'll say that, because they kind of like embody these characters, and while you're sitting there, like, it makes it like so authentic that you're like, let me Google this. You know, like, while you're sitting in the theater, you like, did this really happen? Or what happened between them, you know, the parents and the blah, blah, blah. So it makes you want to know more of the real life story as you're watching it. So that was a long way of saying, yes, I'm down with the Oscar buzz. So yeah, man, y'all got we giving away some stuff on ChillTalk. Y'all got to take advantage. Good stuff.
Okay, here's Felicia.
Free movies.
Free concerts. Before we close out, here's another one for you to add to the list. I don't know if you heard this one. I'm gonna make this real quick. About people I got a problem with. I was at a celebrity fashion show in Los Angeles. I was there with HB, and the fashion show was at Sugar Ray Leonard's house.
Okay.
And Venus and Serena was there. And no, I don't have a problem with Venus and Serena. This was a while back. They were younger. And
you got a problem with their daddy?
No. And so then we you know, I actually talked to them for a brief second, and they seemed to be super, super nice. And but it was pretty uneventful. I mean, it was a lot of celebrities there, and you know, and I was just kind of hanging out. And but it was at Sugar Ray Leonard's house. I mean, his house was humongous. It was a compound. It was a really nice house. Later on, I interviewed Sugar Ray Leonard. It was a boxing movie, and he was like special expert coordinator. And I mentioned to him that I was at his house at that event. He said something. I said something. He said something slick. I'm like, what?
The next thing you know, you looking like Martin when he fought Tommy Hearn.
And I said something slick, and he clowned my jacket. He said something like, was you wearing that ugly ass jacket? I was like, what? So yeah, I got a problem with Sugar Ray. Matter of fact, he's Sugar Substitute Leonard. He's Splendor Leonard. Anyway, sweet and low Leonard.
or sweet on the low.
So yeah, that was that. Add Splendor Ray Leonard to my list of you have something to say. So he's about to fight Sugar Leonard. He ain't want none. He ain't want none.
They was about to go Dragonfly Jones out.
All right, Felicia, we up out of here. You gonna call me after we leave here, and we gonna find out what it is. But all right, we gone.
I think I told you this, but okay.
Okay, maybe not. All right, but Denise, let me know if you need that ticket. We'll give you a pair of tickets if you need two. If you just need one, I'm just gonna give you one. So we up out of here. Melissa already throwing up the deuces. We gone out of here. We love you, Cleveland. Peace.